Hi, I'm Dara. In our previous video, we configured all of the channels, and in this video, I want to build a custom user interface based on the sensor data that we have collected. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is adding a high-speed graph to show the X and Y accelerations. So I'm going to be clicking the graph icon, and then click high-speed graph, and I'm going to be adding it right there, and clicking the X and Y acceleration channels. So as you can see, we have those selected. One thing I want to do is just make the label a little bigger and bold, and in the center, I also want to change the name to acceleration data. So I'm going to label it like that, and I'm also going to make the tick marks a little bigger as well as bold. And I'll do the same for the axis title. And then now I want to add a long history graph for our temperature data. So as you can see, it doesn't really fit. So I can just change the screen tab to around 75% or change it to fit to screen. And this will make it fit based on however many graphs we do add. And so now I'm going to label that as temperature. And I'm going to be changing that to the center, make it bold, and also make it bigger. I also want to add another high-speed graph for the tachout data. So I'm going to be clicking tachout, and again, I'll be renaming that just so it's a little more visible. Bold and in the center. And one final thing I do want to add is a vertical slider for fan speed control. And if you don't know where that might be located, one thing we can use is search icon, and I can type in vertical slider and it will show up. So I'm going to add that there and then add fan speed control. And again, I'm going to be making that bigger and bold and in the center. And I'm also going to make the slider much bigger and change the maximum to 5 since that's what our fan takes, and make the labels content bigger as well, so just easier to view, maybe even bigger. So now we have our graphs all set up, and now we want to try the fan speed graph and fan speed slider and see if it actually works. So I'm going to be sliding it up. And as you can see, the fan has ramped up and we're getting our X and Y data as well as our tachometer data. And so if we wanted to change the graphs a little bit, we can also right-click the Y-axis and click Scale to Visible Data. This is a little busy right now, but we can also always pause and zoom into the data file as well, just like so. So this is the horizontal zoom, and then this would be the vertical zoom. So I'm just going to go ahead and click horizontal zoom. And I could go ahead and pan on that and it would make it bigger. This is not really helping in this case, but I'm going to go ahead and click run. And then in the tachometer data, I can do the same thing, scale to visible data, and then temperature as well. Now we're on our logging specifications tab, which is where our data files would be able to go and any metadata that we would be able to tag. So right here is our base path, and this is where our data would be saved. So this is where I want it to be saved in the FlexLogger data folder, but you can also change that by clicking this. I'm okay with this file name, so I'm going to be leaving it like that, but you could also custom change that. And there's also various logging options like backing up the files, segmenting based on file size or time span, and exporting automatically to CSV. One thing I want to do is highlight is adding a test property. So I'm going to be naming the test property test case. And this will be useful in videos later on where we're using DIAdem. And for this example, I'm not going to be clicking prompt on start, but if we clicked prompt on start, it would allow you to type in your test case. And so once the data is saved and we open up DIAdem, you would be able to see what data is for which test case. And this would help you with your analysis. So in this video, we were able to create a custom user interface based on channels we just configured, as well as set up our logging specifications, And in the next video, we'll be doing further analysis using Labview plugins as well as the RPM data from the tachometer. Thank you for watching.